Hello, Nintendo fans. My name is Mario Master. How are we doing today? So, I have just watched a movie. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this was supposed to be a spoof movie or what this was really supposed to be. Now, if you know me and you know the movies that I like to watch, and you've watched my reviews of certain movies, you'll know that I love spoof movies. I love spoof movies. I love Scary Movie. I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love the Ernest movies. I love The Dictator. The Dictator was really fun. Um, and recently, just now, I just watched a movie. This one isn't really well known, but it's called Absolutely Anything. Now, if I had to sum up this movie, it would be the British version of Bruce Almighty. Now, if you don't know what Bruce Almighty is, that's a really good movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But I will quickly explain the plot of Bruce Almighty in case you have not seen Bruce Almighty. So the essential plot is essentially whoever the fuck, I can't think of his name already. So essentially, God, played by Morgan Freeman, gives all his powers to Jim Carrey, otherwise known in this movie, Bruce Almighty, or Bruce, right? So Bruce, or just Jim Carrey, does a bunch of bullshit with his powers, and eventually gives them back. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So in this movie, in Absolutely Anything, if I had to explain this movie in one sentence, this is how I would explain it, right? Absolutely Anything is the R-rated Bruce Almighty. Now, this movie is okay. I did have to buy it to watch it. I was like $3, whatever. But honestly, I mean, it was made in 2015. It did have Robin Williams in it though, so can't really go wrong there. I just wish he had a little bit more of a presence. He plays a dog in the movie, kind of weird. But the movie overall was actually kind of good. Essentially the same thing. A bunch of aliens come to Earth, and it's like, oh, we're going to destroy the Earth, but we're going to give one person, we're not going to tell anyone that they have these powers, but we are going to give them these, universal powers. So essentially they're God, right? So they give them God powers, right? And without them knowing. And yeah. So a bunch of aliens come to Earth, and they're like, okay, let's pick this one dude to, so the aliens are talking. It's like, okay, we need to just, whatever, the Earth isn't powerful enough, they're not smart enough, whatever, they can't, be a part of the superior galactic, whatever, I don't know, I can't really remember. But, okay, let's pick this one guy, give him universal God powers, and give him, a week to prove that, the Earth is good and we're sparing. So, obviously, at the end of the movie, he gives the powers back, but he still doesn't know how he got the powers, you know? So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting movie. It's an interesting movie. Definitely, once again, it's the R-rated version of Bruce Almighty, but if I had to pick between the two of which one I was gonna sit down and watch, I'm probably gonna watch Bruce Almighty. That movie's just so much better. That movie was just so much better. I mean, like, obviously this is trying to write off, like, that movie, even though that movie was made, like, what, the 90s? This movie was made in 2015, so I'm not sure why they felt the need to do that. But once again, you can't really go wrong with Robin Williams. He's just not in it enough. But hey, it was a good movie overall. I mean, a dude gets god powers and just fucks around for the whole movie. You can't really go wrong with that. Yeah, you know. Would I recommend this movie? Not really, no. Once again, this movie was okay, but like, if I'm gonna suggest a movie to you where some just random dude gets god powers, I'm gonna recommend Bruce Almighty. You know, although yes, absolutely anything was okay, it just didn't have the plot, you know? Like, it tried to be... I wish it was more like The Dictator, you know? If it was more like The Dictator with its plot, it could have been, like, so much better. Well, not The Dictator with its plot, like, The Dictator with its writing. Because, like, that's the reason I like The Dictator. The Dictator with its writing, it rode that R rating to the end of the earth. And it's funny as shit. I loved it. I mean, like, they kept that, like, they wore that R rating on their sleeves, and I loved it. Which is why I like The Dictator so much, is because it's just so dumb. But that's why I love it. I love The Dictator. It was so good. I'm not sure where you can watch it now. It was on Netflix for a little bit, but you're just gonna have to find wherever you can watch The Dictator, I guess. Yeah, but like, absolutely anything I feel like tries to be a spoof movie. It could have been good had it just had better writing. I mean, like, the plot overall is pretty good and fairly generic when you think about it. I mean, like I said, it's essentially the R-rated version of Bruce Almighty, you know? But, like, the fact that the main character has a dog, kind of, like, you kind of see, like, the parallels there. But, like, the dog has much more presence in the movie. Yeah. But, like, once again, if I'm gonna, like, recommend, like, a god movie to you, like, a random dude just gets god powers, I'm gonna recommend Bruce Almighty. But yeah, like, once again, if absolutely anything just had better writing, it would have been such a good movie. I mean, like, you really don't see a lot of people talking about this movie, because, like, it's made by the studio Twin Brothers, which I've never heard of until today, so that's really why, you know, it's not very well known. You've probably seen a YouTube short of it, where, like, the dude, like, makes his dick big and he fucking slips and falls, and he's like, make my dick a dick that a woman would find exciting, and it's like, oh yeah, can you make it white, you know, that kind of shit. That's funny, but it's only that one scene that it happens, you know, and there's no other scenes like it. Like, that's like the one funny thing. Like, I didn't find myself like bursting out laughing like I did with, like, I found myself doing with The Dictator. The Dictator was fucking hilarious. I loved it. That movie, I found myself bursting out laughing. But absolutely anything, like, once again, if it had just better writing, it would have been perfect. Like, if they really made it an R-rated movie, like, I would consider this movie more PG-13 than anything, and not R. Like, it's not an R-rated movie. Like, sure, yeah, they talk about dicks, but, like, that's really the only thing, you know? I mean, like, it's not, I wouldn't consider it an R-rated movie. You know? The Dictator, I don't even know what the rating is on The Dictator, but I would consider that a R-rated movie before I would ever, before I would consider, you know, absolutely anything an R-rated movie. Like, I would consider, like, I would probably consider it being like a rated M, you know? Like a rated M for mature, you know? But like overall, once again, if it just had better writing, I would have probably loved this movie. But it just kind of fell apart, you know? But once again, just an R-rated Bruce Almighty, but I'm still gonna watch Bruce Almighty, you know. And that movie's what, PG-13, and it like it makes like the God thing, like it makes it work. Like you would probably do the shit that Bruce does, but like absolutely anything really doesn't do much, you know. So yeah, I mean, like, once again, just go watch Bruce Almighty. That's really the thing. I mean, better writing, movie would have been perfect. I once again, I fucking love spoof movies, and I love the concept of some just random dude getting god powers. I think that's a good concept for a movie if done well. Bruce Almighty. But if you try to, like, and don't get me wrong, an R-rated god, like an R-rated movie that like with some dude just getting god powers can work, and it could have worked if it just had better writing, and this movie didn't, sadly. But hey, what are you gonna do? Now, if you did like this movie, let me know. You do have to buy it. Sadly, unless you have Hulu Plus, you can just watch it. Once again, the movie's called Absolutely Anything. So, if you watch it and you liked it, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, that's it. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Only a small percentage of you are, so like the video. Please subscribe. It means a lot. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. All linked in the description below. Also, wow, I'm off. Let's try that again. Don't forget to, also don't forget to check out my Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. All linked in the description below. Patreon is $1 a month. I do extra videos. Video coming up pretty soon on the Patreon. Also, go check out the Lonely Boys podcast. That is also linked in the description below. I'm not sure when the next podcast is gonna be. Hopefully soon. No guarantees though. So, yeah, that's it. Peace.